I found the receipt on a Tuesday. It wasn't hidden away or secret. It was just there, on the kitchen counter beneath Laura's phone charger. A crumpled receipt from a boutique hotel in Napa Valley. 2 nights, premium suite, champagne package, $4,000. I stood there, still in my work clothes, briefcase in hand, staring at the slip of paper like it might suddenly make sense. The late afternoon sun made the granite countertops gleam. Everything in this apartment gleamed. Laura had a talent for appearances, making everything look perfect, expensive, effortless. Laura had been in Napa 2 weeks ago, on a girls' trip, she said, with Olivia, Marie, and Naomi. I'd sent her $1,500 for the rental house they were supposedly sharing, but this wasn't a rental receipt. The date didn't match the weekend she'd told me about. I slowly set down my briefcase, as if sudden movements might shatter whatever fragile grip I had left on reality. The apartment was quiet, save for the hum of the city below. We lived on the 14th floor of a trendy building, the kind young professionals aspired to, costing me 42% of my after-tax salary. Laura wouldn't be home for 2 hours. She had a business dinner with a potential sponsor for her Instagram courses. She'd quit her marketing coordinator job 3 years ago to build her online empire teaching women how to become influencers. 60,000 followers, partnerships with mid-tier fashion brands, speaking engagements at social media conferences. She'd shown me the engagement metrics, the growth charts, the student testimonials. All of it funded by my salary as marketing department head at Morrison & Associates. I pulled out my phone and opened our joint banking account. The app loaded slowly, or maybe time had just stretched thin. I hadn't checked this account in months, maybe 6 months. Laura managed our personal expenses while I handled the mortgage, the investments, the retirement accounts. That was our system. We'd set it up 4 years ago when we got married. Division of labor, partnership. That was trust. I scrolled through 3 months of transactions. The first thing I noticed was the frequency. Transfers to Laura's personal account appeared like a drumbeat. Every few days, sometimes twice in one day, $2,000 here, $3,000 there, $1,500, $4,000, $600, $3,500. Some weeks saw multiple transfers. I squinted at the screen, my eyes trying to make sense of the numbers that kept flowing past. I opened the calculator app, started adding. My thumb moved mechanically across the screen. $47,000 in 3 months. I stopped and stared at the number, doing the math again, convinced I'd made a mistake. But no, $47,000 had moved from our joint account into Laura's personal account in just 12 weeks. Over $15,000 a month. My entire monthly take-home salary was $18,000. My hand shook. I placed the phone on the counter next to the receipt, the 2 pieces of evidence staring back at me. I'm not naturally suspicious. I'm analytical and methodical. That's what makes me good at my job. I see market trends before they peak, predict consumer behavior, and build campaigns based on data. But paranoid? No. I'd never checked Laura's phone or questioned her whereabouts. I'd never doubted her. When Laura seemed distant lately, distracted at dinners, her attention split by her phone, less engaged in our conversations, I assumed it was stress. Her business was growing, and growth is stressful. I understood that. When she started going out more, 3 or 4 nights a week, weekend trips once or twice a month, I was happy for her. She'd always wanted a vibrant social life, and now she had the time and money to enjoy it. Except the means was my money. And apparently, the social life included premium hotel suites I knew nothing about. I picked up the receipt again and read the hotel name, the Meadowood Estate. It sounded familiar. I opened my laptop, still sitting on the counter, and typed the name into the search bar. The website loaded with elegant simplicity, expensive. Aerial shots of a sprawling property in wine country, rooms starting at $800 a night. Their romance package, listed on the receipt, included couples massages, private vineyard tours, champagne at sunset, rose petals on the bed in the shape of a heart, breakfast on a private terrace. This wasn't a girls' trip destination. This was where you took someone you wanted to impress, someone you were sleeping with. A cold feeling spread through my chest, like ice had taken over. My hands were steady now. The initial tremor had passed. What I felt wasn't panic, but something more dangerous: clarity. I logged into Laura's Instagram, not her personal account, which was private and mostly friends and family, but her professional one, her brand, the one with 60,000 followers. The one she updated 3 times daily with aspirational content designed to make other women want her life. Her Napa trip was well documented. Group photos at a winery, the 4 women laughing with wine glasses raised. Laura's head thrown back, blonde hair catching the sunlight, looking carefree. Sunset shots with the valley behind them like a painting. Food shots from expensive restaurants, one I recognized as a 3 Michelin star place. The captions were on brand: living your best life with your best people, manifesting abundance and joy, grateful for friends who lift you up. 3,000 likes, hundreds of comments, women asking her for style tips, praising her life. I zoomed in on one photo: 4 women at a table on a restaurant terrace, Laura, Olivia, Marie, Naomi, toasting, smiling at the camera. The golden light made everything look perfect. But who took the photo? The angle was too deliberate for a selfie. Someone had framed the shot professionally. A waiter? Maybe. But the composition felt staged. I scrolled further through her feed. Months of curated posts, designer handbags casually placed, first-class flights, Michelin star restaurants, boutique hotels, weekend getaways, morning yoga in expensive activewear, artisan coffee in minimalist cups. Her followers adored it. They bought her courses. Instagram Influence Academy, priced at $797 for the premium tier. They wanted her life, her secrets. They didn't know that life was a lie built on my credit and bank account. I closed the laptop and sat there in the darkening kitchen. The sun finished setting, and the lights hadn't kicked on yet. I sat in twilight, the city lights beginning to sparkle. Upstairs, someone was cooking. I could smell garlic and onions. A television murmured through the walls. Normal sounds, normal evening, normal life. Except mine had just cracked open and everything inside had spilled out. I didn't cry. That surprised me. I'd always thought I would, but instead, something colder settled into my chest. A clarity, a purpose. I had been stupid, willfully blind, but I wasn't anymore. I opened my laptop again, created a new folder called Financial Review, and started building spreadsheets. It took me 3 days to build the full picture. During that time, I lived a double life that would have made Laura proud. I went to work, attended meetings, reviewed proposals, smiled when needed. At home, I asked Laura about her day, listened to her talk about brand partnerships, ate takeout while she scrolled through her phone. I pretended to watch a documentary, but every free moment, I was digging. I worked late at the office, not on company projects, but downloading bank statements, credit card receipts, hotel confirmations from her email account. She'd used our joint account login years ago and probably forgot I still had access. I hadn't checked it in over a year. Now I read every confirmation, every receipt, every itinerary. I mapped out every expensive dinner, every boutique hotel, every business trip. Cross-referencing her Instagram posts with the financial records, the truth made my stomach turn. The Napa weekend wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern so consistent it might as well have been scheduled. $53,000 in the past 6 months, $90,000 in the past year, smaller amounts before that, $20,000 2 years ago, $40,000 the year before. The spending had accelerated. I'd been hemorrhaging money for 2 years, trusting her, believing in partnership, while she built her brand on my foundation. But more than the money, I found the lies. The conference in Miami last March? Hotel records showed she'd upgraded to a suite and charged a couple's massage package, $260 for hot stone therapy and aromatherapy oils. The collaboration in Los Angeles in June. She posted professional shots from a marketing summit, but our card showed charges for romantic dinners, a couple's spa day, concert tickets, 2 tickets. The Napa weekend? The receipt confirmed 2 guests in the premium romance package. Champagne, rose petals, late checkout, the works. She wasn't traveling alone. She'd never been traveling alone. I needed to know who he was. On Thursday evening, I made an excuse at work and came home 2 hours early. I'd texted Laura that I'd be in meetings until 7, that I'd grab dinner near the office. She'd responded with a thumbs-up emoji. Our communication had devolved to that level lately. I let myself into the apartment quietly, heard her voice from our bedroom. She was on a video call with someone, the door half closed. I stood in the hallway and listened, my heart hammering so hard I was sure she'd hear it. "I can't wait to see you Saturday," she said, and her voice had a quality I hadn't heard in years. Maybe ever, at least not directed at me. Light, excited, young-sounding. "Kevin's going to that conference in San Diego. We'll have the whole weekend. The entire weekend, just us." My conference. The Digital Marketing Leadership Summit I'd mentioned 3 weeks ago. 3 days in San Diego, Friday through Sunday. I'd shown her the itinerary. She'd seemed supportive, even suggested I use the hotel gym, take advantage of the networking opportunities. Now I understood why she'd been so enthusiastic about my professional development. "I know a place we can go," she continued. "This boutique hotel in Laguna Beach, it's perfect, completely private. Nobody we know goes there. We can actually be ourselves for once." A pause. She was listening to whoever was on the other end. Then she laughed, and that laugh cut through me like glass. "I miss you too," she said, her voice dropping to something more intimate. "This sneaking around is driving me crazy. I hate having to plan everything around his schedule. But it's worth it. You're worth it." Another pause. "No, he doesn't suspect anything. Kevin's too busy with work to notice what I'm doing. He hasn't questioned a single trip. I could probably tell him I'm going to the moon, and he'd just ask if I needed money for a spacesuit." She laughed again at something he said. I know, soon, I promise. I just need a little more time to figure things out. The business is doing well. Well, my followers think it's doing well. Once I hit 100,000 followers, I'll have more leverage with sponsors. Real money, not just free products. Then I won't need..." She stopped abruptly. I realized I'd shifted my weight and the floorboard had creaked. "Hey, I need to go," she said quickly. "Talk later. Miss you." I walked deliberately to the living room, making noise now, letting her know I was home. Sat on the couch, pulled out my phone, and pretended to read emails. She emerged 5 minutes later, phone in hand, her expression carefully arranged into casual surprise. "Oh, you're home early." She tucked her hair behind her ear, a nervous gesture she probably didn't realize she was doing. "I didn't hear you come in." "Conference call got canceled," I said, not looking up from my phone. "Client backed out at the last minute. Figured I'd just come home and catch up on work here." "That's too bad." She hovered near the kitchen. "Have you eaten? I was thinking of ordering from that Thai place." "Sure, whatever you want." She ordered food, and we ate in silence. Her attention was on her phone, mine on my laptop, though I was actually watching her, the way she smiled at her screen, the way her thumbs moved rapidly across the keyboard, and how she angled herself slightly away from me, protective of whatever conversation she was having. After dinner, she announced she was going to take a bath. She disappeared into the bathroom with her phone and a glass of wine, closing the door behind her. I opened my laptop and continued building my case. It took me another 2 days to identify him, but once I knew where to look, he was easy to find. I went through Laura's Instagram followers, focusing on men in their 20s and 30s. I looked for accounts she interacted with regularly, not just likes, but comments, the kind of back and forth suggesting a real relationship. I found him on Friday afternoon. Nicholas Moretti, 27, according to his bio. Entrepreneur, restaurant owner, living the dream in San Francisco. His feed was full of expensive cars, restaurants, clubs, bottles of champagne, designer clothes, the aesthetic of someone desperately trying to project success. His restaurant, Osteria, was a trendy Italian place in the Marina district, recently gaining some buzz. The reviews were mixed, praise for the decor and vibe, but complaints about overpriced dishes and inconsistent quality. It had opened 8 months ago. 8 months ago, Laura's spending had dramatically increased. I scrolled through his Instagram, found Laura in his photos dating back 7 months. Nothing obviously romantic, just group shots with other people visible. But the frequency was telling. They'd been photographed together at the same events, restaurants, and parties. Her friends, Olivia, Marie, and Naomi, appeared in many of the shots too. I cross-referenced his posts with Laura's, found the same moments captured from different angles. The Napa trip. He'd been there. His photos showed the same winery, the same restaurants, even the same sunset view. But his captions were vaguer. Wine country vibes. Good company, better views. The Miami trip, Los Angeles, a weekend in Carmel. He'd been on every single trip where I'd found evidence of her not being alone. I looked at the dates. His restaurant had opened in March. That was when Laura attended the social media conference she'd claimed to be at. The conference had been real, but she'd also been at his restaurant's opening party. She'd posted about it, supporting local businesses. But I found the charges on our credit card. Dinner for 2 at Osteria, $167 plus tip, the night before the conference. Then the pattern became clear. Laura would attend a legitimate event, but then extend the trip, adding extra days to meet him. She'd charge everything to our cards, post about the real part, and stay quiet about the rest. I had been funding her affair all along. My phone buzzed with a text from Laura. Working late tonight, dinner meeting with the athleisure brand. Don't wait up. I texted back, no problem. Good luck with the meeting. Then I opened Nicholas's restaurant website and made a reservation for Saturday night. Table for 1, 8 o'clock. Osteria had floor-to-ceiling windows, the kind that let everyone outside see the beautiful people inside. The design was modern, exposed brick, Edison bulbs, velvet chairs in deep jewel tones. The crowd was full of young professionals, the type who treated dining out like a performance. I sat at the bar, nursing an overpriced Manhattan, and watched Nicholas work the room. He was handsome in the obvious way, dark hair styled too perfectly, a fitted shirt that showed off his gym time, a practiced smile. He moved from table to table, laughing at jokes, directing servers with sharp gestures, his charm clearly surface level. I watched for an hour. He lingered at tables with attractive women, his attention shifting to anyone more important looking, constantly checking his phone, a compulsive gesture of someone chasing the next opportunity. This was Laura's great love? This was worth destroying our marriage? He was a hustler. I could see it in every calculated movement. The restaurant was a prop for the lifestyle he wanted to project, a guy who measured success in Instagram posts and bottle service. Around 9, a group arrived, Olivia, Marie, and Naomi. Nicholas greeted them warmly, ushering them to a prominent table by the window. They settled in with cocktails and appetizers, laughing loudly enough to draw attention. But Laura wasn't with them. I paid my tab and left, standing outside in the cold evening air. Pulled out my phone and checked Laura's Instagram. She'd posted 30 minutes ago, a photo of documents spread across our kitchen table, laptop open, coffee mug in frame. Caption, late night hustle, building dreams takes work. Entrepreneur, blessed doc of gratitude. So she was supposedly home working while her friends were at her boyfriend's restaurant. Interesting. I walked to my car, mind working through possibilities. Maybe they were being more careful now. Maybe Friday nights were off limits because it would look suspicious if she was always unavailable. Maybe... My phone rang. Laura. Hey, I answered. Hi, are you still at the office? She sounded bright, energetic. Just left. Heading home now. Oh, perfect. Can you pick up some milk on your way? We're out. Sure? Need anything else? No, just milk. Thanks, babe. See you soon. The casual endearment. Babe. Something she hadn't called me in months. The cheerful tone, the domestic request, all of it designed to project normalcy, to maintain the illusion. I stopped at a convenience store, bought milk, drove home, found Laura exactly where her Instagram post had suggested, at our kitchen table with her laptop, papers spread around her, playing the role of dedicated entrepreneur. Hey, she said, smiling up at me. How was your day? Long, I said. Yours? Productive. I'm finalizing the curriculum for my next course. She gestured at her laptop. It's coming together really well. I put the milk in the refrigerator. Your friends out tonight? I think so. Olivia mentioned something about trying a new restaurant. You didn't want to go? She shook her head. I need to focus. This course launches in 2 weeks, and I'm behind schedule. I nodded. Went to our bedroom, changed out of my work clothes, came back to find Laura still at the table typing away, the picture of dedication. Except I'd seen her friends at Nicholas's restaurant. She knew they were there, and she was here, creating an alibi, making sure I saw her being responsible and present, which meant something else was happening Saturday, something that required me believing she was trustworthy tonight. I went to bed early. Laura stayed up working until past midnight. Saturday morning, I packed for my conference. Laura made coffee, asked about my itinerary, reminded me to network, kissed me goodbye at the door. I'll miss you, she said, and almost sounded like she meant it. Miss you too. Have a good weekend. Oh, it'll be quiet. Probably just catch up on work and maybe see the girls for brunch tomorrow. I nodded, picked up my bag, left, drove to the airport, checked in for my flight, went through security. Then I turned around, left the airport, and drove back to the city. I checked into a hotel near our apartment. Small place, nothing fancy, paid cash. Stayed off my phone except to send Laura a text from the airport lounge. Boarding soon. Talk to you tonight. She responded immediately. Have a safe flight. Love you. I sat in that hotel room and waited. At 2 p.m, Laura posted on Instagram. Photo of her in workout clothes, yoga mat visible. Caption: Saturday self-care, taking time to recharge. Wellness, me-time balance. At 4, she posted again. Coffee shop photo, laptop open. Favorite corner for getting creative. Coffee and ambition, entrepreneur life. At 6:30, her friends started posting. They were at some art gallery opening in the Mission, champagne glasses in hand. All 3 of them, Olivia, Marie, Naomi. Without Laura. At 7, I left my hotel. I drove to Laguna Beach, 90 minutes south. Found the boutique hotel Laura had mentioned on her phone call. It hadn't been hard to identify. There were only 3 truly high-end boutique hotels in Laguna Beach, and only one marketed itself as completely private and romantic hideaway. The Tides Inn, exclusive, expensive, secluded. I parked down the street. Waited. At 8:45, Nicholas's car pulled into the parking lot, a BMW he definitely couldn't afford on a struggling restaurant owner's salary. Laura was in the passenger seat. I watched them check in, his hand on the small of her back, her leaning into him. They disappeared inside. I sat in my car for a long time, darkness settling around me, watching the lit windows of the hotel, thinking about trust and lies and the way people construct elaborate deceptions and convince themselves they're justified. Laura wasn't a bad person, I thought. She was weak, selfish. She'd wanted more than what we had, more excitement, more luxury, more attention, and instead of talking to me about it, instead of ending our marriage honestly, she'd taken what she wanted while keeping the security I provided. And Nicholas, he was simpler. He wanted her money, my money. He wanted the lifestyle, the Instagram posts, the appearance of success. She gave him that, and he gave her the fantasy of being desired by a younger man who owned a trendy restaurant. They were using each other. The only person being actually betrayed was me. I drove back to San Francisco, checked into my hotel, ordered room service, opened my laptop. It was time to stop observing and start acting. Sunday morning, I flew to San Diego for real, attended the conference, sat through panels on digital transformation and consumer engagement, networked during coffee breaks, had dinner with colleagues, did all the things I was supposed to be doing. But my mind was elsewhere, working through the problem like a campaign strategy. Laura had built her life on appearances, her influence, her friendships, her relationship with Nicholas. All of it depended on maintaining a certain image. She was the successful entrepreneur, the aspirational figure, the woman who had it all together. What happened when that image cracked? Monday evening, I flew home. Laura picked me up at the airport, smiling and affectionate. "How was the conference?" she asked, reaching for my hand as we walked to her car. "Productive. Made some good connections." "I'm proud of you," she said. "You work so hard." The irony was stunning. We went home. She'd made dinner, actually cooked, which she rarely did anymore. Pasta with vegetables, salad, wine. We sat at our kitchen table and she asked about the panels I'd attended, the people I'd met, what I'd learned. I told her about a keynote on authenticity and brand building, about how consumers could sense when companies weren't genuine, how trust was the most valuable currency in modern marketing, how once you lost it, you could never fully recover it. She nodded along, apparently not catching the subtext. After dinner, she curled up next to me on the couch, something she hadn't done in months. Put her head on my shoulder, said she'd missed me. I stroked her hair and planned her destruction. Tuesday afternoon, I had lunch with Olivia. I'd gotten her work email from Laura's contacts. She was a senior analyst at a financial consulting firm downtown. I'd sent her a message Monday evening, casual and friendly. "Hey, Olivia, I'm going to be near your office for a meeting tomorrow. Want to grab lunch? Feel like I haven't seen Laura's friends in forever." She'd agreed immediately. We met at a bistro near her office. Olivia was sharp. You could see it in the way she carried herself, the way she listened with complete attention. She'd always been the most grounded of Laura's friends, the one I'd actually respected. We made small talk for a while. Her work, my conference, how nice the weather had been. Then I shifted. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "About Laura's business." "Of course. How's it actually doing? She doesn't really share details with me anymore. Says I wouldn't understand the influencer world." I smiled self-deprecatingly. Which is probably true. Olivia hesitated. "I mean, her following is growing. The courses seem popular." "Right. But revenue-wise? Is she actually profitable?" I don't know the specifics. She always picks up the tab when we go out, though. Seems like she's doing well." "With her money or mine?" Olivia's expression shifted. "What do you mean?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the spreadsheet I'd created. Every transaction, color-coded and categorized. $53,000 in 6 months. "Every trip you've taken together," I said quietly. "Every dinner, every hotel, every shopping expedition. I paid for it. Laura doesn't have income from her business. She has followers, but her courses barely cover their production costs. Everything, her entire lifestyle, runs on my salary." Olivia stared at the numbers. Her face paled. "I don't think she's told you that," I continued. "I think she's let you all believe she's successful, that she's manifested this abundant life through her hard work and positive thinking. But it's not real, Olivia. It's my money." "Kevin, I'm not telling you this to make you uncomfortable," I said. "I'm telling you because I think you deserve to know the truth about who you're friends with, about who you've been accepting expensive gifts from. That Napa trip? $4,000. The Hermes bracelet she gave you for your birthday? $1,200. All charged to our joint account." Olivia set down her fork. She looked ill. "There's something else," I said. But I need you to promise you won't tell Laura we had this conversation. She nodded slowly. I showed her more. The hotel receipts for 2 people, the couple's packages, the pattern of trips that coincided with Instagram posts from Nicholas Moretti. She's having an affair, I said. With the guy who owns Osteria, has been for at least 8 months. Every trip she's taken, every time she said it was just you girls, he was there. She's been using my money to fund a relationship with another man. Olivia's hands were shaking. I need to go, she said quietly. I have a meeting. I understand. Thank you for hearing me out. She stood, then paused, looked at me with something like pity. Kevin, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Any of it. If I'd known, you would have told me? She nodded. Well, now you know. I watched her leave, her stride not quite steady. Then I paid the bill and went back to work. That evening, Laura came home excited. She'd gotten a new brand partnership, something with a skincare company. We celebrated with takeout and wine. She was affectionate again, touchy, almost like old times. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. This is Olivia. Can we talk more? I think Marie and Naomi should know too. I smiled. It took 3 days for the truth to spread through Laura's friend group, and I watched the fallout like a weather system rolling in. Olivia told Marie and Naomi everything. I know because Marie called me Thursday afternoon, her voice shaking with anger. Is it true? She demanded. Everything Olivia said? Every word. And you have proof? Bank statements, hotel receipts, credit card records, Instagram posts cross-referenced with financial transactions. I can show you all of it. She was quiet for a long moment. Laura's been lying to us about everything. Yes. We thought she was successful, that she'd built something real. We looked up to her, Kevin. Some of us even paid for her courses because we wanted what she had. That detail surprised me. You took her course? Last year, $800, and it was worthless. Generic advice on posting schedules and hashtags I could have found for free on YouTube. But I thought she knew something I didn't. I thought she had some secret figured out. The secret, I said, was marrying someone who made good money and didn't pay attention. Marie laughed bitterly. And Nicholas? That's really happening? I followed them to a hotel in Laguna Beach last Saturday, while I was supposedly at a conference and you 3 were at that gallery opening. That's why she didn't come. She said she had work to catch up on. She was catching up on something. Friday evening, Laura noticed something was off. Her friends hadn't responded to messages all day. When she tried calling Olivia, it went to voicemail. That's weird, she said, staring at her phone. Olivia always answers. Maybe she's busy, I suggested. Saturday, Laura tried organizing brunch, sent a group message to her friends. No responses. She started getting anxious, checking her phone every few minutes. This isn't like them. Do you think something's wrong? Maybe they're just busy, I said. People have lives. Sunday morning, she was pacing. It's been 3 days. Nobody's answering. No one's even viewing my Instagram stories. Did something happen? Should I be worried? I'm sure everything's fine. But everything wasn't fine, and we both knew it. Monday, Olivia finally responded. We need to talk, all of us, Tuesday night, 7 p.m., Osteria. Laura stared at the message. Why there? And why does she sound so serious? Maybe she wants to support Nicholas's business, I offered innocently. Laura didn't look convinced. Tuesday at 7, I arrived at Osteria first. I'd made a reservation under my name. Asked for a specific table near the windows where everyone could see. Nicholas hadn't connected my last name with Laura yet. She used her maiden name professionally. I sat down, ordered a drink, waited. Olivia arrived at 7:15 with Marie and Naomi. They spotted me, and I saw the moment of recognition, the understanding crossing their faces. I nodded to the empty chairs at my table. They sat. Thank you for coming, I said. This is going to be ugly, Olivia said quietly. Yes. She doesn't know we know? Not unless you told her. We didn't. We wanted to see if she'd come clean on her own. Naomi's voice was tight with anger. She didn't. Laura arrived at 7:25. I watched her through the window, checking her reflection, adjusting her hair, preparing to face her friends. She had no idea what was waiting. She walked in, spotted us, and her face went through a rapid series of expressions: confusion, surprise, and then something like fear when she saw me sitting with her friends. She approached slowly. Kevin, what are you doing here? Having dinner with friends, I said. Please sit. I don't understand. Sit down, Laura. She sat reluctantly, her eyes darting between me and her friends. What's going on? Nicholas appeared from the back, all charm and confidence, heading toward our table. Laura, so good to see... He stopped when he saw me. Oh, I didn't realize you were bringing... Her husband, I said. Kevin. We haven't met officially, but I've seen you in my wife's photos, and on my credit card statements. The color drained from his face. Laura's hand flew to her mouth. Kevin, please, not here. Why not here? I kept my voice calm, even pleasant. This seems like the perfect place. After all, I've been funding this restaurant since it opened. Didn't you know that, Nicholas? Every dinner Laura charged to our cards, every bottle of champagne, every private celebration. That was my money keeping your dream alive. A nearby table went quiet, sensing drama. Nicholas stepped back. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? I pulled out my phone, opening my files. March 15th. Dinner for two, Osteria. $167. March 23rd. Private room rental, $450. April 7th. Bottle service, $620. I looked at him. Should I continue? I've got 8 months of receipts. Laura stood up quickly. Kevin, stop. You're embarrassing me. I'm embarrassing you? I laughed without humor. That's interesting. Olivia spoke up, her voice steady. Sit down, Laura. Olivia, you don't understand. We understand perfectly, Marie said. Kevin showed us everything. The bank statements, the hotel receipts, the lies. Laura's eyes widened as she looked at each of her friends, seeing only cold anger. You've been talking about me behind my back? Like you've been sleeping with Nicholas behind Kevin's back? Naomi's bluntness made several diners turn to stare. Keep your voice down, Laura hissed. Why? Naomi leaned back, unfazed. Worried about your image? Your brand? Your carefully curated life falling apart in public? Laura turned to Nicholas, desperate. Say something. Tell them this is crazy. But Nicholas was already calculating. I could see it in his eyes. He was weighing his options, deciding whether Laura was worth the scene. His restaurant was filling up, and a confrontation with a betrayed husband wouldn't be good for business. Laura, he said carefully, maybe we should talk about this another time. Another time? She stared at him incredulously. You're just going to walk away? I think that's best, for everyone. Understanding dawned on her face. You coward. You fucking coward. Laura, please. He glanced around at the watching diners. You're making a scene. I'm making a scene? Her voice rose higher. I've been risking everything for you. My marriage, my friendships, everything. And you won't even stand next to me. What did you risk exactly? I asked quietly. You didn't risk anything, Laura. You just took my money, took my trust, took my life, and used it to fund your fantasy while I worked 60-hour weeks to keep us afloat. She spun to face me. You don't understand. You were never there. Always working, always busy. I was lonely. So you stole from me and fucked a 27-year-old restaurant owner who's drowning in debt? I shook my head. You weren't lonely, Laura. You were bored, And instead of being an adult and talking to me about it, you decided to play pretend with my money. It wasn't just your money. We're married. It's our money. Is that what you told yourself? Olivia interjected. Is that how you justified spending $47,000 in 3 months? Laura's head snapped toward her. Olivia. Programa ChatGPT skazala. No. Olivia stood up. I'm done. Done with the lies, the manipulation, the fake friendship. You let us believe you were successful. You let us admire you, look up to you, even pay for your pointless courses. And it was all fake. You were fake. I built something real. Laura's voice cracked. My Instagram, my following, my courses. Built on what? Marie stood now too. Your husband's salary? Because you sure as hell weren't making enough to support yourself. Kevin showed us your business accounts. You're barely breaking even on those courses after expenses. Laura's face went pale. She turned to me. You gave them my financial information? That's private. Like our marriage was private. Like our joint bank account was private. I remained seated, calm. You gave up privacy when you started using our shared resources to fund an affair. I love him. She pointed at Nicholas, who had backed away and was now talking quietly with a server, clearly trying to distance himself. You don't understand what it's like to feel alive again, to feel wanted. I wanted you, I said simply. For 8 years I wanted you. I supported your dreams. I paid for everything. Never questioned, never doubted, and this is what I got in return. Tears streamed down her face, but I felt nothing. I'd cried enough in the last 2 weeks, alone in hotel rooms and sitting in my car outside their romantic getaway. I was done crying. What do you want from me? She whispered. An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. Can we just go home and talk about this privately? I don't want an apology, Laura. I want you to understand that actions have consequences. What does that mean? I pulled an envelope from my jacket and placed it on the table. Divorce papers. Already filed. You'll need to sign them. She stared at the envelope like it was a snake. You can't be serious. Completely serious. I've also closed our joint accounts, changed all the passwords, canceled the credit cards. Everything is separate now. You'll find your personal account has exactly what you earned from your business over the past year, which, according to your tax returns, is about $8,000. You can't do that. That's my money too. Actually, the lawyer was clear. Money I earned goes into individual accounts unless explicitly transferred to joint accounts. I've stopped those transfers. You'll only have access to what you earned personally, which isn't much. Marie pulled out her phone. And we're done too. All of us. We don't want friends who lie and manipulate, who pretend to be something they're not. You're going to throw away our friendship over this? Laura looked desperately at each of them. You threw it away, Naomi said coldly. When you lied to us, when you used us as alibis, when you let us believe in a version of you that never existed. Laura turned back to Nicholas, who was now actively walking away. Nicholas, wait! He kept walking, disappeared into the kitchen. She stood there, in the middle of the restaurant, mascara running, hands shaking, and I watched her realize she had nothing left. No husband, no money, no friends, no boyfriend who'd been using her just as much as she'd been using me. This isn't fair, she said weakly. No, I agreed. It's not, but it's justice. I stood, pulled out my wallet, and dropped $300 bills on the table. Dinner's on me, one last time. Consider it a goodbye gift. Olivia, Marie, and Naomi stood as well. We walked out together, leaving Laura standing alone in the restaurant she'd spent thousands of my dollars at, surrounded by strangers who'd watched her world collapse. Outside, on the sidewalk, the 3 women turned to me. Thank you, Olivia said, for telling us the truth. You deserve to know who you were friends with. What will you do now? Marie asked. Move on, start over, be more careful about who I trust. Naomi shook her head. She really had it all, didn't she? A good husband, financial security, real friends. And she threw it away for what? Instagram likes and a guy with a failing restaurant? Some people don't know what they have until it's gone, I said. We said our goodbyes. They went their separate ways. I walked to my car, parked 2 blocks away. My phone buzzed. Laura calling, then texting. Please come back. We need to talk. Kevin, please. I can explain everything. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Please give me another chance. I turned off my phone. 3 weeks later, I sat in a coffee shop near my office reading through my lawyer's latest email. The divorce was proceeding smoothly. Laura had tried to fight it at first, demanding spousal support, claiming she'd sacrificed her career for our marriage. But her own social media presence had destroyed that argument. Thousands of posts about being a successful entrepreneur, about financial independence, about manifesting abundance. You can't claim you're a successful business owner online and then argue you need financial support in divorce court. Her lawyer had advised her to settle. She'd signed the papers yesterday. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Kevin? A woman's voice, tentative. This is Kevin. It's Naomi. I got your number from your lawyer's office. I hope that's okay. I told them I had information relevant to your case. Is everything all right? I thought you should know. Laura's been calling all of us, constantly, leaving voicemails, sending long texts. She wants another chance. She's apologizing, saying she's changed, asking if we can get together and talk. Are you going to? No, none of us are. We talked about it, the 3 of us. We're done, but she's not accepting it well. Her Instagram has gotten weird. I opened Instagram, found Laura's profile. Her most recent post, from this morning, was a long caption with no photo. A confessional about making mistakes, about learning lessons, about how sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. The comments were mostly supportive. Her followers didn't know the real story. They just saw vulnerability and assumed she was going through a hard time. But there was something desperate in the tone, something unraveling. Kevin? Naomi's voice pulled me back. Be careful. I think she's not doing well, mentally. Thanks for the warning. And Kevin? For what it's worth, I'm sorry. We should have seen what she was doing. We should have questioned things more. You trusted your friend. That's not something to apologize for. After we hung up, I sat there thinking about trust and betrayal and how people construct elaborate lies that eventually collapse under their own weight. My phone buzzed again. This time, a text from an unfamiliar number, but I knew immediately it was Laura. She'd probably gotten a new phone, a new number, thinking I'd blocked the old one. I know you hate me. I understand why. But please, just meet me for coffee. One conversation. That's all I'm asking. I need closure. Don't you need closure too? I stared at that message for a long time. The old Kevin, the one who trusted blindly, might have answered. He might have wanted to understand, to resolve things. But I wasn't that Kevin anymore. I blocked the number. 2 months later, I sat in my new apartment, a smaller 1-bedroom place, but it was mine. No shared memories, no ghosts of a failed marriage. I was doing better, sleeping through most nights. The anger had faded into something quieter, sadder, but manageable. I started therapy, which I should have done years ago. My therapist said I'd been living in willful blindness, ignoring the warning signs because confronting them meant facing the fact my marriage wasn't what I thought it was. She was right. I'd thrown myself into work and got promoted to senior director. The extra money was nice, but I appreciated having something to focus on, something I could control. I started dating again. Nothing serious. Just coffee dates, dinners, conversations with women who seemed genuinely interested in me, not what I could provide. At first, it felt strange, like betrayal, until I remembered Laura's betrayal was far worse. My phone rang. Unknown number. I'd gotten better at not answering those. It went to voicemail. 30 seconds later, the notification popped up. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won out. It was Laura's voice, smaller, defeated. Kevin, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve your time, but I needed to tell you. Nicholas's restaurant closed. He filed for bankruptcy. He was covering losses with money from various women he'd been seeing. I wasn't the only one. There were 3 others. We all funded his dream while he played us against each other. A bitter laugh. I lost my Instagram account. When you can't maintain the lifestyle, the followers disappear. Brands don't want to partner with someone whose engagement is dropping. The courses stopped selling. I had to move back in with my mom. I'm 33 and living in my childhood bedroom. A long pause. I'm not telling you to make you feel sorry for me. I know I did this to myself. I just thought you should know you were right. About everything. Nicholas used me. My friends, Olivia, Marie, Naomi, they were real, and I destroyed those relationships for someone who never cared about me. I had a good husband, and I threw that away too. Her voice cracked. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I understand now what I lost. I'm sorry. So sorry. The message ended. I sat in my quiet apartment, sunlight streaming through the windows, and felt nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. No sadness. Just a strange emptiness where anger and hurt once were. I deleted the voicemail. She was right. She didn't deserve forgiveness, not because I was holding a grudge, but because forgiveness implied reconciliation. That bridge had burned. I lit the match myself. Laura had made her choices. Deception over honesty, fantasy over reality, appearance over substance. Now she lived with the consequences. That wasn't my revenge. That was just the natural order. You build a life on lies, and eventually, it collapses. My revenge was simpler. I stopped funding her illusions, stopped being the safety net that allowed her to take stupid risks, stopped protecting her from her own choices. I let gravity do the rest. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I ran into Olivia at a bookstore. She was in the fiction section, pulling down a thriller, and she looked up just as I walked past. Recognition, then a genuine smile. Kevin, hi. Olivia, how are you? Good. Really good, actually. She held up the book. Ever read this author? No, but I've heard good things. We walked to the coffee shop attached to the bookstore, got drinks, sat by the window. It felt easy, natural, like running into an old colleague rather than my ex-wife's former best friend. I heard about the promotion, she said. Congratulations. News travels fast. Marie saw it on LinkedIn. We still talk about you sometimes. Wondering how you're doing. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. She nodded, studying me. You look different. Lighter somehow. That's what happens when you stop carrying other people's lies. Have you heard from Laura? She left a voicemail a few months ago. I deleted it. She's tried reaching out to us too. Marie blocked her number. Naomi changed hers. I keep meaning to block her, but I haven't yet. I guess part of me wonders if she's okay. Is she? Olivia shrugged. I don't know. Her Instagram is gone. Her website is down. It's like she disappeared. Part of me feels bad about that. We were friends for 5 years. She made her choices. I know. And rationally, I know we did the right thing by cutting her off. But emotionally, she trailed off. Is it wrong that sometimes I miss her? The version of her I thought I knew? No. That's just grief. You're mourning the friend you thought you had. She was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something? Something I've never told anyone? Sure. That last year, before everything came out, I started to notice things, little inconsistencies, stories that didn't add up. She'd get defensive when we asked about her business, change the subject when money came up. Part of me knew something was off, but I didn't want to see it. Seeing it meant admitting my friend wasn't who I thought she was. We all do that, I said. Ignore the signs because confronting them is uncomfortable. Is that what you did? With the marriage? I thought about it. Yeah, for a long time. I told myself she was just busy, stressed, going through something. It was easier than admitting my wife was lying to me every single day. When did you finally admit it? When I found that hotel receipt. I couldn't explain it away anymore. The evidence was too clear. Olivia nodded slowly. That night at the restaurant, that was brutal to watch. It needed to be public. She'd built her life on appearances. The only way to dismantle it was to expose it where everyone could see. It worked. By the next day, everyone knew. Screenshots of her posts next to your receipts. The truth spread faster than her lies. I'd heard about that. Someone at the restaurant filmed part of the confrontation and posted it online. It went viral in her influencer circles. Her image shattered in real time, in high definition, with comments enabled. Do you think she'll ever recover? Olivia asked quietly. Financially? Maybe. Her reputation? Unlikely. One Google search and her whole history comes up. That's harsh. That's consequences. We finished our coffee, exchanged numbers, promised to stay in touch, though we both knew we wouldn't. Some connections exist only in specific contexts, and once those contexts end, so do the connections. As I walked to my car, I thought about Laura, the voicemail I deleted, and the life she was living now, small and diminished, back at her mom's house. I didn't feel sorry for her, but I didn't feel satisfied either. Revenge, I'd learned, wasn't as fulfilling as I expected. Not because she hadn't suffered, she had. Not because justice hadn't been served, it had. But because I'd still lost 2 years of my life to someone who never deserved them. I'd still been betrayed. I'd still had to rebuild my ability to trust from the ground up. You can destroy someone who hurt you. You can dismantle their life, expose their lies, and watch them lose everything. But you can't undo the hurt itself. The best I could do was make sure I never made the same mistake again. Trust, but verify. Care, but protect yourself. Love, but don't lose yourself in it. I drove home to my quiet apartment, ordered takeout, and spent the evening reading. No drama, no lies, no deception, just peace. And that, I realized, was the real revenge. Not destroying Laura's life, but building a better one for myself. She'd lost everything trying to have more. I'd lost everything and gained myself back.